Today I sat down with Troy from Seller.Tools and he showed me LQS Pro, a new tool from Seller.Tools that allows you to very intuitively and visually analyze the listing quality score of your listings and optimize it. In the end of our call, I also had the opportunity to ask some questions about listing optimization, and I was very impressed and surprised by his very unique view on listing optimization, and I cannot wait for you to see the answers that he gave me. Now, if you would like to try LQS Pro, we have a discount code for you. You can find the link down below. Also, do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Welcome, Troy, to the channel. Nice to have you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate you having me on.
Cool. So why don't we start out by having you introduce yourself and tell us how you help Amazon sellers?
Yeah, so my name is Troy Johnston. I am now an M&A advisor at Carbon6, but it's been a bit of a journey that's got me to this place and what I do now. I'm a prior seller myself. I've built and sold Amazon businesses. I've consulted and advised different brands, and then notably co-founded a SaaS that is Seller.Tools. That is something I'm really proud of, and it's a suite of different tools and features, things that we'll touch on today that we've built out that we've always wanted as sellers. And that was always the vision and what we executed on with our platform, with our Chrome extension. And that brings us to who I'm working with and the team I'm part of now with Carbon6, who acquired Seller.Tools a little bit earlier this year. And so that's been the exciting news and update for me and my team.
Very cool. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Cool. And today we're here and we want to talk about listing optimization because it is such a critical factor and essentially it is able to make or break a seller's success. So can you tell us a little bit about the tool that you recommend to help sellers optimize their listings?
Yeah, I'm a little bit biased, but this is a tool that we've developed. And we've sort of asked ourselves through going through the ideas and brainstorming, what really makes an optimized listing on Amazon? What meets that criteria for success? And so the tool I'm referring to it's called LQS within the Seller.Tools Chrome extension. And as we start to discuss it and break it down a little bit more, that's really more of the strategy. It's really just a team of sellers saying, well, what's going to give us an advantage? What is Amazon sort of rewarding now? Exploring that and thinking about how we can create almost a checklist, a way of sellers can think about, oh man, this is where I'm leaving some money on the table. My listing's maybe not as visible as it can be. And what are some things I can do to meet that all important optimized threshold for my listing?
Cool. Can you then show us the tool? I'm very curious, and I saw already some things on YouTube, but I would love to see it more in detail.
Yeah, absolutely. Would be my pleasure. So here on Amazon, with the Seller.Tools Chrome extension added to our browser, of course, we can tap into a few other tools and features, but we want to make sure that we've got LQS added and enabled as we kind of kick off our search. Now, we can run and use a tool like this for our own listings, highly encouraged, of course, for listing optimization, but it also does a really great job when it comes to competitive analysis. So you can sort of see, hey, if I'm thinking about sourcing a product, entering a space or a niche within Amazon, how are those winning listings performing? How are they leaving money on the table? And how are they essentially under optimized? So let's go ahead and kick off. I'm going to start a search here on Amazon. And you're going to start to see some of the Seller.Tools Chrome extension features come into play. So you'll know where to find some of these. So we've got the keyword expander that will give us more keyword ideas based on our seed keyword or seed keyword phrase. But if we run a search, let's then take a look at some of the top results. I used to sell a product that was a hyaluronic acid serum. So I love to use this example. It also serves as a great, highly competitive space, not only in the category, the beauty level, but more specifically at the product level. And as we scroll down, again, you'll see a few other Seller.Tools Chrome extension features added in from keyword insights, as we see a little bit higher up here. That gives us some additional insights at the keyword level to enhanced search data. But what I'm most interested in is I'm actually going to pull a result from that keyword phrase or in this product category. That's not a top result necessarily. And maybe as we dive into this listing, understand its optimization, we can see through a feature like LQS where there is some missed opportunities. So now that I'm at the detail page level, what we'll start to see is, of course, even more Seller.Tools Chrome extension features come into play. And what I'll draw your attention to is right here under the title. This product looks like it's earned the Amazon choice for a misspelling of the main or master keyword, which would be hyaluronic acid serum, is the LQS score. So we can see here, it's a score out of 1,000. And we're going to break this down so you can see how we get the current score and how we could potentially get even higher out of that 1,000 for this specific detail page. Again, I have to reinforce, I'm running this on a listing that's not even mine. It's not linked to an account I've synced, so I can run this on any product in Amazon's catalog to pull these same insights that we'll be breaking down together. So if we click on LQS, let's take a look at this detailed breakdown of the listing quality score. And in case that wasn't clear, LQS, that's what it stands for, listing quality score. So we see the overall score here, and let's break down the subsections that make up this total. We have the keyword quality score, really important. It cannot be overstated how important keywords are on Amazon when it comes to search, visibility, capturing buyer intent. Media quality. Now, as Amazon continues to get more and more media rich, we know with things like A+ EBC, even in different ad types, Amazon is welcoming, encouraging almost a social media type atmosphere. Very intuitive that they do this. The more time that we spend and interact on Amazon, the more likely we are to complete a revenue generating activity. So of course they're going to encourage that. Well, how are you doing with the only real estate that you're given? You can't realize a purchase on your product or brand without converting at the detail page level. So in the context of media quality, how are we doing with our listing? I touched on EBC or A+ content. So in that same spirit, it makes a ton of sense for us to break this down separately, analyze it, and give you a score of how you're performing or how a listing is performing on Amazon. And then lastly, conversion quality score. As you can guess, you can drive all of this great traffic to our detail page, try to get as many eyeballs and people seeing our product, seeing our listing, but how conversion ready are we? How ready are we to turn that qualified traffic into sales? And we'll break that down at the in terms of conversion readiness. Last but not least, automation and reporting. We're going to take a deeper dive into this, but what this allows us to effectively do is when you see LQS and its power, one of the requests we would often get is, okay, I see how this informs where I should be spending my time to optimize my listings, but I want to do this across variations, or I want to kind of cherry pick different elements of a listing to see how I'm doing in a more granular fashion. We'll use automation and reporting to pull some of those insights. So with that context, let's dive into the first segment here for keyword quality score. Again, we see our overall score in this section, but let's break down how we arrived at that score. Now, one of the things that we do with LQS is it's an important step, but where we often see sellers sort of completing this step and stopping, not going any further. It's like one piece of a very large puzzle, is that we look at character counts. Character counts are important for understanding that Amazon gives us our listing. It's like our retail shop. That's our real estate presence on Amazon. But then how are we using that retail presence in these key sections? So whether it's our title, our bullet points, we'll look at, are we using as many characters to fill up and use that real estate as possible? So we'll clearly identify anytime we're not meeting that character count recommendation or meeting a best practice, we'll highlight that in LQS and give you a detailed breakdown as to why we recommend and why this best practice exists. But intuitively, this is really looking at, are you using the space that you're allotted in your listing? So we'll check that again for the title. For each one of the bullet points, we'll scroll down to that portion of the listing. So we can see again, bullet point 3, a little bit underutilized here in terms of how many characters, which translates into keywords and keyword phrases that we're using in this portion of a listing, as well as it looks like this one's actually using beyond 5 bullet points, bullet point 6. So they've even gone out of their way to use an additional bullet point, but not even necessarily use all of the available real estate. So character counting, again, it's important, but not inherently complete. It's just one piece of the puzzle. What is often missing, whether it's tools or sellers' workflows, is looking at the quality side of things. So thinking about, okay, we've used that real estate, we've added in those characters, we've hopefully added in relevant keywords and keyword phrases, but this is a real test, because one of the next things that we'll do is we will check the indexation. We'll sort of ask Amazon, hey, based on relevant words and phrases, are we indexed in your catalog for this product and for these important keywords? So we can start at the title, check the index, and it will automatically, LQS will do a crawl here in active, right in real time, to see if the words and phrases that we've used, we've done all this keyword research, spent all this time, hopefully done something exceptional in that step, but this is the test. Does Amazon view us as relevant in its catalog for those words and phrases that we've used? And as you can probably guess and imagine, we want to do this in every portion of our listing. So you come into LQS, you check the index of bullet points 1, 2, 3, and so on, and get this really nice highlighting, and then clear as day, as you can see, any sort of words or phrases that were not indexed for in Amazon's catalog will show up in that nice, clear red color. And that lets us know, well, maybe our keyword research, maybe our listing optimization, the placement of those words and phrases, the emphasis, are we telling or emphasizing to Amazon that we're relevant for these words and phrases? We cannot know unless we run this check. And we love how convenient this is, again, in real time, to be able to see. And again, as a product I used to sell, seeing a few phrases in here where I know brightening serums are kind of complementary to a hyaluronic acid serum. Don't ask me why I know that. Again, this is a product I used to sell, but I know that from intimately being familiar with my product and brand. Again, as user brand owner, that's your responsibility as well. So then understanding at the keyword level how we should be doing the supplemental or even long tail keywords, we want that to show up this nice teal color and not that bright red. So I'm going to complete the checks, make sure that I do my full due diligence on this listing, checking each and every bullet point and having clarity on indexation. And we can do this through bullet points. We'll go down a little bit further, where we can also check the description and A+ and EBC content, as well as multiple subcategories. Now, this is one of the really cool aspects as well. This has been fairly new, where the addition of A+ EBC on the other side of brand registry. I'm going to actually move this right back over here. Both the front end and back end optimization is really important for fully optimizing your listing. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing the front end. And this is often when you run this, you add LQS, or excuse me, add the Seller.Tools Chrome extension, run LQS. What you'll often find is the front end of A+ and EBC is often under optimized. There's a lot of index issues that, again, in this example, are clear as day. I'm seeing a healthy amount of red for some of the keywords that are used. And I can see it, and it's quite visible here as we scroll through the entirety of this portion of a listing. Super insightful to be able to see it. And that informs the score that we get within LQS. One other important note, as I scroll back up, is that this actually will change. What you'll notice from when we initially ran the score, indexation, because we do the quality check, that the score can shift. It's dynamic in that way where it says, oh, well, now that you've completed this check, and now we see how Amazon's responding to keyword relevance and the use of those keywords within a listing, that can positively or potentially negatively impact your keyword quality score. So I want to keep an eye on that as we're making and completing these changes. The last portion under keyword quality is going to be in subcategories. So is it niched down? Is the results even more specific for the buyer and user, ultimate user of the product? And then multiple categories. How wide is our footprint is it in the Amazon catalog? Ideally, we of course want to see multiple categories. You could of course always hover over the best practices and the detailed insights that we provide for each one of these subsections. But as you can already see, with just one, essentially a quarter of LQS, this is really exhaustive. We look at the quantity, we look at the quality side of things. We truly understand if we've done any work, which again, hopefully you've done that really effective keyword research before optimizing our listing. Well, how is that actually showing up when it comes to performance right here live on Amazon? Now, let's jump over to the media quality score. Another really important area. I'm going to start at the top. And we're going to look at some of our main images. So overall score, fairly underwhelming, but let's analyze this a little bit further. So image count, we can see 6 out of 9. How many placements are we utilizing? So we've got 6 total images that we that have been populated or added to this listing. Main image is at high resolution, meeting Amazon style guidelines. Now, this is really important. If we take the main image, I move this over, you'll see that it is zoomable images, welcome page interactions. If you'd like to geek out on the Amazon A9 and ranking factors, spending time, or encouraging page interactions from customers or potential customers does drive ranking. So a very simple and needed step, you have to have a main image, but doing it right, LQS will make sure you're doing it effectively, optimally, let's say, and ensuring that you're welcoming and driving as many potential rank factors as possible. Now, we look at that for the main image, but we also take a look at that for the additional images. So again, we'll check Amazon style guidelines. Are they all zoomable? Give you a clear indication. Now, since there's only 6 out of 9 uploaded, very clear indication of where there's a potential missed opportunity. Video on image 7. So since there's 6 images, it's very clear to see here. We can add a video and place it in image 7, but that's not currently included. Related video shorts. So if I scroll down, as we know, this portion of a listing, it's a nice, big, thick bar that lives on our listing essentially forever. So really important real estate. As we can see here, across the listing, related products. Now, whether it's a customer that uploads a video, hopefully we're avoiding any kind of competitors uploading a video. This is where the onus is on the brand for you as the seller to really take ownership of this portion of a listing. So it's really important that we call that out. Do we see any related video shorts coming from that brand? And if possible, we want that whole section. Ideally, we want at least one. We're not seeing any that are included, but we have none to account for that are coming from the brand, the owner of this product. And again, owning that real estate. This is like your retail location, and a competitor or really anybody is just kind of taking up their placement, making it their own, and leaving it open to whatever's really added or uploaded to a listing. Last but not least is Amazon posts. So we'll do a crawl up a listing to see if any Amazon posts have been added. Amazon will look at if you add 10 or more what they deem to be relevant. Amazon posts can also be viewable on a listing. So we'll make a check here, and we see that they're not included. And again, a total placement, potential placements of 6. So underutilized, and some opportunities here. We can kind of start to see why that media quality score is a little bit underwhelming, but we have very clear areas where I can come in. If I'm running this brand actively, I'm thinking, okay, I've got real estate to fill in a high quality way, portions of my listing left to chance. That really starts to sound the alarms for me, informs for me and my team where we should be spending our time to fully optimize our listing. Now, EBC or A+, we did take a look at the front end of this listing, but now we want to take a look at both the front and back end portion, kind of the whole picture of these new resources and assets that we get as a benefit of brand registry. So EBC or A+ content is found on this listing. Of course, we can see that clear as day. How many modules have been added? So no modules, but there have been images. Again, we can see those quite clearly. Image alt tag optimization. Now, this has been a really strong point of debate, but it's really cool to be able to answer this definitively with a tool, with LQS, if you're utilizing it, is that Amazon will crawl and index the tagging of your images within A+ or EBC. So if we come in here, we can see again how many have been optimized. If we check the index in real time, I can see a listing that's not even my own, random one on here on Amazon that I may be doing some discovery and some research on. I can see what keywords they've used, in this case, branded phrase, and if they're indexed for the keywords that they've used. It's a really cool kind of way to spy on the competition. Now, again, you can run this on your own listing. It's a great way of seeing if you're indexed for what you're using, but What this tells me is they're using, effectively underutilizing this portion of the listing on the back end, using pretty obvious branded phrases. Great that they're indexed, but they're effectively under optimized. So again, we can run this check on each portion. Hyaluronic acid serum. So we see they've gone a little bit longer, a few little index issues that we see spotting here as well. But we have that visibility as we crawl through their listing. Pretty neat. It's probably one of the most popular aspects of this because it is kind of like spying on your competition. It's very rare that you have this level of visibility. And again, an answer to a hotly debated topic, let's say, of indexation within this portion of a listing. Well, when you can check it and you can check it in real time, it sort of definitively answers it. And then it's just really cool to be able to tap into it and make the most out of both the analysis of competitors and for your own listings. So that's EBC and A+ content, but we cannot forget conversion quality. And this is where we sort of look at everything that can factor in. If we're driving, we know the importance of external traffic. We're probably even spending money to drive external traffic. We're using influencers. We're doing all this really great and wonderful stuff. But as is the case with keywords, with indexation, conversion readiness, be getting a bit more granular, factoring in these other immensely important variables. It's an area of emphasis and an area of high importance. So we can see the overall conversion quality score, but let's break down some of the specifics. So at the pricing level, we'll look at a product to see, are they running a promotion, utilizing a sale price, or in this case, using a MSRP or retail price? Are they using coupons? Now, as we know, coupons are visible both at the search level, and when you take a look at results after inputting a keyword or phrase, as well as on the detail page. So we've got two levels of perceived value, and obviously Amazon makes a coupon nice, big, and bright. So really great when it comes to conversion readiness and conversion support. Questions. Now we look at how many questions are added on a listing. We keep this as a pretty safe, easy to achieve baseline, but a good idea to keep an eye on that. If we were to scroll down to that portion of the listing, let's go ahead and do that. And of course, we want to be thinking about how are we responding to those questions? Are we doing so hopefully maybe a keyword optimized way where we're having even more support and even more signals to Amazon, the relevance of our listing, even while we're supporting our customers in the Q&A portion. So we'll make sure that that is supported. Then ratings and reviews. And this is fairly intuitive, but again, as important as anything else. We know that ratings and reviews, since they're now parsed, both are immensely crucial for driving more conversions on Amazon. So we'll look at overall rating. So what is the star count? Ideally, of course, you want to have that at 4.5 stars or greater in almost all categories. The number of reviews. So again, it's the interplay there of quality and quantity. Top reviews. Now, this is when you're thinking about the positioning on your listing. What are the top reviews? If I'm the first time buyer coming down, reviewing this listing, considering a purchase in this category or for this product, what are the top reviews and what do they look like? We ideally, of course, want them to be optimal in terms of the rating, but also welcome and encourage media-rich reviews for the same reasons we touched on in terms of our listing, but also that feedback that we receive from a customer, the additional time and effort that they put in is often mirrored in the response of a prospective customer. They really wait, as you can imagine, when a customer who's left that feedback, they really weight those videos, those reviews that show up with images. So we want to really highlight that in this top and sort of premium portion of our listing. So we'll look at top reviews, images and video. We see 2 out of 5, as we can see right here. Now it's less than ideal because of course one is 5 stars, another is 1. So not really the best presentation that we're able to give to prospective customers. If we look at top positive and top critical review, if I were to go ahead and click over and click see all reviews, you would then see just a breakdown. I'm going to save us from doing that, but a top positive review, again, ideally you want to see that as 5 stars. Top critical review, you're usually looking for the best of the worst that somebody has said about your product and buying experience. So you ideally, of course, want that to be 3 stars. So it is a missed opportunity here. Some people want to call out and see if we can encourage or welcome those types of ratings and reviews. And this area is really where you think about customer engagement, customer ownership. Obviously, you want an optimal buying experience. But if you're missing some opportunities in this area, it is really an indication of revisiting that. Are you supporting your customers in an effective way? Is there ways to optimizing that buying experience? Is there post-purchase strategies in place to ensure that you've really tweaked this in, dialed it in, welcomed maybe more video reviews? Is there a promotional activity you can welcome there? Something you can excite your current customers with to take action and support some of your initiatives when it comes to overall optimization. Last but not least, on the conversion side is reviews for other countries. As those have been added and removed, we do still crawl a listing to ensure we have visibility into top reviews from other marketplaces or countries, as well as if there's any images and or video incorporated in those reviews as well. Now, automation and reporting, bring this right back up. If we expand that, as I mentioned before, this was really a feature that came to be from feedback from the community and other aggregators, a lot of folks that were working with a large number of SKUs of saying, man, this is really great at the individual level, almost at the child ASIN level. Insights are exceptional, but I want to be able to run this at scale. I've got multiple variations, sizes, colors, you name it. What you can do is come in here, select the ASINs. So in this case, this product has 3 variations. Let's go ahead and say we want to run all. Then we can leave selected or deselect any of the fields that we want to run an LQS check on. If all of that looks good, we can run a report, let that do the heavy lifting for us, and then come back, download that report. And then we have a nice CSV file that has in clear columns the optimization or potential under optimization of all of the ASINs within this listing. So Sophia, I know that was a very high level view of LQS, but hopefully this starts to kind of illuminate a little bit of where we spend some time in looking at if a listing is truly optimized, and then very clearly giving to the user, the person that's really making the most out of LQS, what areas they should be focusing on, where is there an imbalance, and even just potentially more revenue generating activities when they address some of those pain points.
Yes, thank you so much for guiding me through it. It's very interesting, this tool, and it's also very different looking from any other tool that I've seen, which I find very, very interesting as well. And I like that it is so visual and very intuitive to understand, and instead of just being in the back end, and a lot of it sometimes is also a guessing game, right? What is indexed, what is not indexed, what is working, what is not. I think LQS really, like you said, there are no questions. Everything is very clear when you run the checks.
Absolutely. Yeah. We really wanted to create it in such a way too, where you could see, the check mark is really that peace of mind of, okay, great. At that individual level, we've done what we've needed. We can move on. And then when we see that X, or in the case where we run index, that highlighting it's pretty hard to miss when there's missed opportunities.
Absolutely. I also really appreciate the ability to do it at scale. So for all of the variations at once, that's also really good. And to download it for, to have it as a report so that you can come back to it later and work on it afterwards as well. So that's nice. And so I have some questions, because I think then I'm talking to the man when it comes to listing optimization, and I would like to ask some things. So the first thing that comes to mind is, how has Amazon changed, and how has it been changing what an optimized listing is?
Yeah, the big shift that we see, and you'll notice this is where, and it's intentional, we sort of build out features in the direction where Amazon is skewing, is that Amazon has become that much more media rich. They're really wanting to see from legitimized brands, which brand registry is really meant to be kind of the gateway for, more media, more images, more video, more ways that they are building up real brand equity, and hopefully it's on the brand to do this, some amount of brand loyalty, but doing so by having a personality. One of the challenges, especially in the compare and contrast marketplace that is Amazon, is kind of giving your product and brand at both levels some amount of personality, and the media is a way of really being able to do that. And like I said, it's not maybe as rosy as even I'm putting it. I know Amazon knows where if you're spending more time in their marketplace on platform, you are more likely to click that add to cart with your credit card on file and spend a little bit more money. So they're doing things that really make a better customer experience, which opens doors for brands, but that also translates into how well are you using or taking advantage of that reality and adding that media and including those and doing so in a high quality way. Again, meeting Amazon style guidelines, utilizing high quality assets, and being willing to invest there.
I see. Actually, a side question or comment, or I would like to have your perception and your opinion on the Amazon posts. Do you think, how do you see it? Is it picking up? Do you think it will pick up even more in the future?
Yeah, I saw a sort of initial wave and excitement behind Amazon posts, and I would say it's wavered a little bit. And I would also say because Amazon has sort of been mixed in their reactions and support for it. How that even plays into LQS is that, it was a bit of a moving target for us to even crawl and start to see, hey, our posts added to a listing, because Amazon was constantly changing it. So I think the community's response was there was a lot of excitement, but there hasn't been, I would say, the value to sort of match that excitement yet. Not to say that that can't be the case. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that translates over time, but it seems somewhat underutilized from my perspective.
I understand. I'm sure that in time, perhaps Amazon will get back to it and really put emphasis there if that's the direction that they want to take. But what you said about having the users spend more time on the website and having that translate into more sales makes a lot of sense. So I'm sure that, yeah, perhaps the posts would be a future stronger bet for Amazon as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of the things I touched on it for the zoomable images for the main image, but a lot of people are still not what A9, so Amazon search algorithm. If you really break it down into some of its key components, that really is, even when it was initially developed, was the idea of seeking and identifying how customers were interacting with search results and detail pages. And so that was always the spirit. We always just thought, oh, well, Amazon is just looking for whatever product converts the most. And so it was conversion rate, and that was overstated and inflated. But then you started to unpack, well, things like adding to wish lists, adding to cart, but not having to buy. So like intent was more important than even the conversion. Well, Amazon really, if you really geek out on it, it's really over 200 different factors that inform A9. And a majority of them are page interactions. It's Amazon seeing how is a customer interacting with the page. One of my favorites, I often mention it, is the idea of even just printing a detail page, somebody right-clicking and printing a detail page, a factor for a page interaction that impacts Amazon A9. So, we're constantly learning, we're constantly obsessing over, what Amazon rewards, and I think rightfully so. But I think that's one that's missed, where it dovetails right into our conversation. Like, if you do listing optimization right, as a matter of fact, doing something that every single seller and brand has to do, but then you do it with the intent of leveraging what Amazon rewards, that's where your advantages start to show up.
Very, very interesting perspective. I think I never heard someone talk about it in this way, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you look at a lot of listings. So I would like to ask you, what are areas of listings that are often overlooked?
Yeah, some of the biggest surprises have been really things like A plus EBC, things like indexation. So I know a lot of sellers right now are using like copy pasting keywords to check index, and they're doing it, let's say, in a non-systematic way. So they're doing it kind of sporadically. Big opportunity to fully optimize that process of making sure that, okay, I'm adding this new portion of a listing. It's got both the media and the copy, but the keyword aspect is overlooked. And so I think that's a big one. And then on the media side, related video shorts is kind of one that I've grown more of a preference towards, of making sure that I own it or see that brands own it. And it's often a missed opportunity as well. It's just so easy for somebody to go in, again, a competitor, a customer, even sharing, let's say, a less than optimal buying experience, and then that lives there, and that makes a really big impact if somebody's new to brand, taking a look at your listing, and then they watch a 60-second video of somebody spending their time bashing your product, bashing the buying experience, that's probably going to impact revenue and performance at the end of the day. So those are a few key areas that I would always look at. But I'm such a keyword proponent that that foundation has to be set. What is your process to do better keyword research, to add it and initially optimize your listing in an inferior way, understanding the weighting of listing elements, and then systematically checking the performance, setting up ranking alerts, but also then running that index check in LQS in a systematic, let's say weekly, bi-weekly cadence.
Interesting. And good that you mentioned it, because I wanted to ask, how often should a seller be optimizing their listing and be doing these checks?
Yeah, my preference, if I had to kind of lean one way, would be as often as you're comfortable and capable. It's now so important with the dynamics at play with Amazon that it can be a force multiplier. It can be what makes you the same as everyone else, or a 10% difference can compound and create exponential results. So I think if you have the resources, again, I know that there's small and agile teams working as brands and owner operators, that kind of thing. If you can set up a bi-weekly check, worst case monthly check, I think that's probably pushing it out a little bit too far. But it's from that strategic perspective, is that, again, this is what everybody has to do. I think sellers really struggle with, what is my point of difference? What am I exploiting? If I'm selling the same product, and then it really emphasizes, well, then my listing has to be like, it really puts the pressure, I think, on sellers to figure out what their competitive advantage is, and getting this step right is so crucial. So I would say as often as you're comfortably able to. If it's weekly, perfect. But on the more, let's say, extreme end, on a monthly basis.
Got it. I guess also for the more competitive your niche is, maybe the more you'll feel the need or the urge to really stay on track of how things are changing, and if you're still optimized, and how's the competition looking and everything.
For sure. And the lens I always view it through as well is that I'm a big proponent of automation. I just touched on briefly things like keyword alerts. There are business and performance alerts you should always have set up that will buy you a little bit of that time. So that way you're not constantly, as sellers, we love to refresh and see our sales. We love to refresh and see our keyword rank. But really what we should be doing is having the data flow to us and not be spending time checking and refreshing. And so if we're doing that, that can buy us a little bit more time for scheduling out some of our more important tasks like listing checks.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Right. When it comes to conversion, I read something about the 80/20 when it comes to conversions on Amazon. Can you tell us a little bit more about it, what it is, how does it work?
Yeah, I mean, really what it boils down to is making sure that at the end of the day, I mean, we've broken down the overall conversion quality score. Is it does really boil down to things like price, things like what's visible on the search term results, as well as at the detail page level, notably things like coupons. It's your main image. Again, both search term and on the detail page. So we have to think about these touch points that customers experience with greater frequency, how optimized they are, and how encouraging at the end of the day they are for realizing a sale. So there is that small subset. Price is another one. Ratings and reviews is the other. So it really is what carries over into the detail page view. That's really important. That makes up that 80/20. Now, if you want to go a little bit beyond, obviously dive into what we look at with LQS, but it is those core and crucial few that are often going to translate into conversions at the end of the day that will drive more revenue.
Okay, got it. So keeping always those in their special consideration and their special attention.
Absolutely. That's the nature of what I say, the compare and contrast marketplace. Unfortunately, we never get to completely take our customer aside and say, look at just our product. It's always in comparison. And so we think about that. You touched on two more competitive categories. I remember these types of exercise in selling and beauty of my checks, probably not as systematically, but being sort of obsessive about looking at what's the competitive landscape, price tweaks and optimizations. If they're doing A/B testing on images, are they tweaking pricing? Coupons are a new addition relative to when I was running that brand. So I think about some of these levers that we can pull but I do so sort of willingly look at what's the customer experience from the keyword to the result to the detail page, and then how that informs conversion quality. The beauty of Amazon, we often overlook this, is that we're capturing existing demand through buyer intent that shows up in keywords. So the traffic component, Amazon sort of says, well, here you go. And then it's yours to do with what you will and optimize.
Absolutely, yes. Always fulfilling demand, not necessarily creating it, which exactly optimization then that's what we need to do then. Thank you so much for your knowledge. It was very, very insightful. I think you have a very interesting perspective on listings and listing optimization. So that's very refreshing. And I would like to ask you, where can our viewers go to find out more about LQS, LQS Pro, and also other tools of Seller.Tools?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a few different places that you can find me and my team effectively. Now that Seller.Tools is part of Carbon 6, you can find Seller.Tools and other Carbon 6 tools and solutions at carbon6.io. So you'll find other tools under our umbrella that include PixelMe, AMZ Alert, and others. Of course, you can still find Seller.Tools at Seller.Tools. We have both a website, and as we spent some time on today, through the Chrome extension, there's actually free features in the Chrome extension, so you can start to utilize LQS and portions of the tool for absolutely for free. Encourage you to run it on your listing, competitors' listings, take full advantage of it. And then two of the places you can reach out and connect with us is our Facebook group, FBA Kings. Really great supportive community there. Ask your questions, get support, brainstorm different ideas. And then, of course, you can find me on LinkedIn. So I'm pretty active there as well.
Thank you so much. We will also link everything down below so that people can easily find it.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for your time, then. It was very nice to talk to you, and I hope to do it again sometime soon.
Sounds great. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to try LQS Pro and you would like to optimize your own listings or spy on the listings of your competitors, then do not forget that we have a discount code for you. You can find it down below. And also remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And the video next that you need to watch is also this video with Troy, in which he tells us and he shows us the Seller.Tools Chrome extension.